Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Tuesday, January 28th, or excuse me, June 28th, 2022, a little after 3 p.m. Eastern. We'll be having a Time for Change call tomorrow night at 9 p.m. We're going to continue. Some of the more information is out on the Tartarians. I think that going over it a few times is not a bad idea. And we've got some additional information. So whatever we resist persists. Thoughts are like boomerangs. Island Caddy. Have you ever continuously sent out a strong emotional thought of, I really don't want X, Y, Z to happen, right? And somehow you only attract that thing or situation into your life. If I really don't want, blah, 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 whatever to happen. And somehow we only attract that thing or situation into our lives. And a lot of people say, why is that? If we are truly super powerful, highly intelligent, manifesting beings, why do we create something that we don't want to occur? There may be a variety of explanations for this, yet the most foundational reason is that whatever we resist will persist. It is a paradoxical world we live in. And the key to transcending it is embracing the totality of existence, which means resisting nothing in this universe. This is the only way to master our lives. So we start today with finding peace with what we cannot. Finding peace with what we cannot. Anytime we throw up an energetic or emotional wall and start resisting something, whether it's a thought, feeling, memory, or that person standing in front of you, you'll find that your mind is fiercely focusing upon the negative aspects of what you don't want, instead of the positive possibilities of what you do want. Vibrationally, we are like magnets and only attract that which we continuously focus upon with great emotion. So if you can stop focusing upon something, you'll stop resisting it and thus stop manifesting. To control the mind takes great awareness, patience, and love. It also takes knowing your true divine infinite nature that fears absolutely nothing. For as divine beings, we've all set it up so that every little thing that we focus on grows, expands, and returns to us, naturally like a boomerang. We cannot get rid of our inherent manifesting magnet nature. If we could choose someone or somehow to train our minds to obsessively resist feelings of joy, love, and abundance and gratitude, it'd be a roundabout way. Yet we'd soon start finding those qualities showing up all throughout our lives. It's good to know that all resistance comes from fear of something else. All resistance comes from fear of something else. If you can discover what you're truly afraid of and welcome it with open arms, then all resistance to life will dissolve instantly. When you no longer resist that one person, you know the one who always triggers you, you have just found a new way to love and appreciate them. It all happens the moment that we see how everything is connected to the divine. It's easy to resist nothing when all we see is God. when we realize that everyone also has this divine infinite nature, we have no other choice than acceptance. The day we have no resistance to the understanding that everyone, yes, everyone, even Hitler, is a divine being connected to the God source, you'll have truly transcended all future suffering. The experience of total fear and being lost in love are the two greatest resistances people have. The experience of total fear and being lost in love are the two greatest resistances people have, since going completely into either one would absolutely obliterate your ego. Perhaps you notice this resistance habit in your love life or your family relationships. You might have discovered that when you start thinking something is wrong about somebody or believe that they should be different, your body contracts and gets into resistance mode. This internal rejection of life is a ridiculous attempt to protect the ego so that it can remain in illusionary control of its agenda and remain in complete ignorance of your divine infinite nature. It's good to know that all your problems in this lifetime are going to be created out of this simple resistance to your innate divinity. What we resist persists. Once you stop resting or resisting the infinite God source inside you, you'll understand the role the ego had to play in order to trick you into discovering your true nature. You see, the ego was never real in the first place. It was just a shadow created from your mind, standing in the way of your infinite light. As with any shadow, you'll realize that the closer you get to it, the easier it is to see that there is nothing actually there. This may be a frightening discovery to realize that you don't actually exist at all, and when your mind ego is no longer running the show, you'll be living in bliss 24 hours a day. Isn't it time that we've transcended this intricate weave of limiting beliefs which have been blocking the brilliant light of our own infinite being for far too long? As long as we are identified with our egos, we will continue to react with resistance to people, situations, and conditions that have triggered us since childhood. For example, if someone teases you and makes fun of you in front of all your friends, it's good to remember that nobody is under attack. How can you attack a shadow? Why should a shadow need to feel victimized, blamed, or fight back if it's not even real to begin with? All of our problems arise from this over-identification with this shadow self. Always remember, it's the only thing that is not real. Our names, bodies, thoughts, feelings, overall identity have absolutely nothing to do with who we truly are. This fragmented false self is a figment of our mind's imagination and will always pale in comparison to the all creative vast resource of our limitless being. The ego will always be a juicy interpretation about who we think we are. Yet it is light leagues away from the infinite truth of our being. The day we anchor this knowing of who we are and what our ego is, it will become the first day of our lives that we are not blind, yet can actually see. The great wall blocking every human being from seeing their divine nature is the same. It's that barricade of beliefs which have accumulated around the mind from past programming. All the memories, ideologies, rules about life, which we've created for ourselves growing up, can often behave like waves in the ocean created years ago, and yet are still continuously arriving at our shore. These unconscious reactions attempt to resurface each day until we have sailed through the core of each one with a laser-like awareness and have seen it for what it actually is, a thought. Yet be careful. These waves can be dangerous because they just might throw you into an emotional tide pool swirling around Drama Island for the next 30 lifetimes. With such a devastating effect always at hand, our past conditioning must have a positive role to play as well. It is always there, forcing our awareness to remain super alert and conscious so we are enjoying each new moment. It'll keep us sane to know that our souls have committed for this experience of body-mind programming so that one day we would be forced into mastering our minds. When it comes down to whatever you resist will persist. The mind is already the greatest master at this. The mind will do everything to not follow your lead until it realizes that you no longer are going to participate in its games. The new relationship with the mind can be formed by diving into those places in your body that are still holding on to resistance and tension. Our bodies are like a graveyard of past experiences that are still resisting certain memories, people from the past, or aspects of our lives. Our bodies are designed to hold on to a specific physical tension until the memory associated with it is cleared. For example, if your shoulders tense up, each time you think about a certain person or situation at work, you'll want to ask your shoulders, as if they could talk, what specific memory are they holding tightly onto? When you stop and ask certain parts of your body what they are really holding onto, it becomes a type of archaeological expedition where you get to discover all the most interesting artifacts inside. Who knew the exploration of resistance could be so exciting? You can transcend any physical pain or issue in your body is having by simply going into the experience, exploring what the memory is, releasing it from your body with your breath. Your breath is always the gateway to healing. If it's a big trauma lodged in your body for years, you may first need to spend more time than usual to feel it deeply so that you can release it completely. You'll know it's gone from your cells when you can regurgitate the memory and nothing shows up in your body. The secret is feeling your greatest fear that is hiding underneath your resistance to the fear. I know this sounds complex, yet do not stop when you hit resistance to feeling past trauma inside. Dive into the memory, explore the thoughts, feelings around it several times. Go deeper than it, and go through it with the power of surrender. Eventually, you'll find that underneath it all is the presence of your eternal being. And that's a real whew. I knew there must be some wonderful reason we signed up for all of this pain. We actually didn't know we were going to get the pain. Once we can surrender through emotional blockade, through every emotional blockade and find the river of consciousness that penetrates us and surrounds us, we will be free and healed on the most profound levels. When we discover how to free up our bodies from all the tensions and resistance to this life, we will have the power to manifest just about anything we can fathom. By completely releasing the fear trapped in your cells, you regain access to that supernatural power inside yourself. You'll have a greater appreciation for life and a deeper understanding of yourself, as well as how to step through any tense experience that arises. It truly is amazing as all the intricate complexities that we create inside ourselves just so that we have an entertaining ride home. This life is here to be explored and experienced on every level. It is like a grand buffet of 10,000 delicious main courses where hesitation, doubt, fear, and resistance are also meals on the list that our souls get to taste, devour, and transcend. How else could we know our all-expansive true nature unless there was something small and contracted to push us down so that later we could happily let go and say, The release of our body's tension caused by resistance gives the ego the sensation of freedom and happiness. It's like a great orgasm that you really had to work hard at to attain. Once you discovered the secret of relaxing the body while enjoying the uphill ride, you'll soon find yourself arriving in the land of absolute bliss. In this life, we have a lot of assignments that we either choose or don't. So this one, for instance, take the next 7 days of your life to get curious about what you are truly resisting in your life. Perhaps you're resisting getting older, not having enough money, being wrong, blamed, not understood, or resisting deep intimacy in your relationship, etc. Whenever you find out something you are resisting, write it down on a piece of paper so that you can refer to it any time throughout your day. Then, find that one thing on your list that you resist the most, and spend a few minutes every morning relaxing into that feeling. Accept your resistance to it. Be with that which you cannot be with. Go straight to the heart of fear with a warrior-like mind. Do not stop until you have found peace with the thought you are resisting. Keep sitting and being with the feelings as they arise without entertaining the extra story behind them. Let go of your stories. Simply practice relaxing deeper into your body so that you can feel all your feelings hiding inside. Now, as you practice feeling acceptance again and again and again, you will soon see everything you were afraid of has melted away. It is replaced by a deep stillness and calmness inside. The calmness is your very nature. And to live from this place is to take that first step into becoming the enlightened master of your life. So if you will, go to the place where you're not going to be interrupted. I'm sure that we all are. The first thing that we care to do is relax these bodies that we are in. Knowing that we are not the body, we are not the character, the personality, the name, we are not the status in this life, we are the God within it. And the body is like a magnet sponge. It just, we store stress, tension, fear, anxiety, worry in the body. That's why, this stuff, it bubbles up all, you ever notice that? You've got a fear about something, bubbles up. Comes back, keeps coming back. You notice that? Go away, then it keeps coming back. So now if you were to say, okay, this time, I'm going to face that fear. And it could be a fear of anything. You could have several fears, but you take one at a time. And you look at the one that's the strongest. And you face it. Have a conversation with it. Fully embrace it. Surrender to it. And see what happens. And then you have the next fear, whatever it may be. Do the same thing. The body begins to release. It lets go of things. It no longer carries them. Okay? I bet that none of us, in one day, right, none of us could say, don't have a care or a worry in the world. I'm in total bliss and joy. Because you ever notice you got one worry and it goes away, you got another one. Takes its place. You get a bunch of things cleared up and then a bunch more come in. You ever notice that? It's because it's like we have this big closet and we just dump things in that closet. And we shut the door. Just throw it in there, shut the door. But it keeps coming back. So when we surrender to this stuff, which for some is very scary, say, because they think they're going to manifest it or something, you surrender it. Look at it. You don't sit there and say that you don't want that. You sit there and say, okay, so what's the issue here? What am I dealing with? A thought turned into somewhat like a reality. Thoughts are thoughts. They have no power. Not until you give them the power. They're just thoughts. And a lot of us get tied up in those thoughts. And when you really think about it, we put out 60,000 plus thoughts a day, each one of us. Non-stop. Then we have all this mind chatter 24/7. Then we have all these programs, right? Flying by like clouds in the sky. You might call them thoughts, but they're not. They're programs. Tens of millions of billions of them. And 99.999% of them are not ours. And then we have the rat race, the material physical world. So look at that. Just look at that right there. So we focus on our breath. Easy and slowly in through the nose and easy and slowly out through the mouth. Focus on our breath. Our breath is divine positive energy. It's omnipotently powerful. When we focus on the breath, we are in the now. Okay? And then all of that externality, the ego mind, subconscious mind, mind chatter, not there. And when you think about it, the craziness is that the ego mind is an illusion. It tests us so that we can rediscover the gods we are in the body. That all this outside of us is just entertainment. It isn't anything meant for us to totally absorb ourselves into. And this is part of the secret to becoming unstoppable. See, because with our breath, we still the ego mind, subconscious mind. We leave them alone. We don't interact with them. We don't entertain all those thoughts. None of it. We leave it alone. We stay in the now through our breath. And the now is the only way that any of us will ever master the ego mind, the subconscious mind. You can't master something when you're in it, when you're self-absorbed with it. You can when you leave it alone and step outside of it so you can view it and not judge it, but watch how it acts. Watch what it does. Then you begin to master it. Then you'll know that when you have ego mind feelings, you'll say, that's ego related. I'm not interested in that. Or ego mind thoughts come in. You're not interested in that. And they fade off. So you begin to dismiss the ego mind in situations when the ego mind was in the reverse with you, was in the mastership of you. So you're reversing the roles. You're becoming the master of the ego mind, subconscious mind. And it is stepping down as a great servant. Now, it's important that we practice being gentle, kind, generous, and humble with ourselves at all times. Not easy at times. And to be in the highest of the highest high, the deepest of the deepest deepest, and the purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude. That is absolutely paramount, to stay in gratitude 24/7. So you get irritated with yourself, you get irritated with something, you get stressed out. Then you flip right to, what am I grateful for? It totally counteracts it. What can I be grateful for? Totally counteracts it. It defeats it. It's hard for many of us to be unstoppable because we've got so many things we get tied up in with the ego mind. It's just funny because the ego mind will literally latch on to negative, not positive. It'll latch on to negative. And I've lost track of how many people that I've watched and listened to that when they say they don't want something, they say it with so much heart power, it's unreal. I don't even think they know it. And they manifest it. A lot of times we put more effort in what we don't want than what we do want. And when we let go and we stay in the now, we practice staying in the now through our breath, all of that stuff melts away. And you just know that things will fall into place. Now, you don't have the time schedule. You don't know the date. But you have the trust in yourself and the universe that it'll all work out. So we still will have these floaters coming in, right? You're focused in the now. You're focused on your breath. And then you find yourself floating off, grabbing onto one of the clouds in the sky. And it's not like we do it like we, consciously do it. It's like a habit. And we float off. And then we're able to identify that and say, not a biggie. I'll focus on my breath and I'll be in the now. Every single time. And that's paramount for all of us, is to focus on the now. We get waylaid a lot. And we find ourselves many times standing in front of 3 paths. And the one on the left is yesterday, the past. One on the right is tomorrow, the future. And the one that we're all congregating around is the now, one in the center. Now we look at these paths and we see that the trees have formed golden canopies over the paths. shimmering leaves, golden leaves, and bark and branches. And we see the pathway, which is a brilliant emerald green flaming grass. It appears to be grass. The only thing, when we look at these paths, we just say, look at how worn yesterday is. Look at how worn tomorrow is. Why isn't the now worn? It looks almost brand new. And we figure it out. We do come to the conclusion. So it's because the ego mind doesn't exist in the now, and it doesn't want us to be in the now. And we reminisce. We have memories. Nostalgia. Comes in, floods in at times. Wasn't that a great time? I'd like to do it again. And another thing to use is like references where, I did this way then, didn't work. I'm thinking that if I do it this way, it'll work. So it's like our great hall. Each of us have one. Massive resource library, information center. And our subconscious mind, which is another illusion, is the recorder for everything we do in these bodies. By the time you enter that baby body, all the way through this life and past lives, it records everything, copies everything. Not just with you, but everything around you. All happenings, events. And it stores it in the Great Hall. And it will at times play it back. This is where, people talk about nostalgia or deja vu or, I've been here before. You have. And the subconscious mind is playing it back. Now, it may not seem exactly the same. It's the feeling, say. So we'll go into that hall. We'll open the door, turn on a light. And whenever you enter a room, whether you know it or not, you quickly flash at the ceiling and the walls. It's like blink. Well, you do that in a great hall, in your great hall, but it's so vast you can't see any ceilings or walls. Now, you will get some pictures and some movies and some books, and you'll sit in the easy chair, and you'll see this white panel floating in the air, and you'll watch some of the movies and read some of the books and look at some of the pictures. You have a great time. Going over things, reviewing things. Could be years ago. Could be a few weeks ago. And you just let it flow. You flow with it. Enjoy it. But then there comes a time where you will take everything, put it up in its proper place, turn off the light, shut the door, and go forward in life. On occasion, you'll revisit that great hall. Some of us, however, unconsciously, will stay in that great hall so long that they will end up bringing that past into a future that doesn't exist, create that future from that past, and relive that past in that future. And this is why there's a lot of people on this planet that will say no matter what we do, we always end up here. Because they're repeating things. They don't know it, really. It's unconscious. But they keep repeating things. And then they get more frustrated. And they repeat the same things, and they do it the same way, and they can't understand why it's the same outcome. See, consciously you say, that didn't work. I'm not going to do it that way next time. I'm going to do it this way. See if that'll work. But they will repeatedly do the same thing over and over again and think, okay, bring in expectations that, well, I'm going to have a different result then. But in reality, they won't. They'll have the same result every single time because they're doing the same thing over and over again and not shifting or changing. Now, we all go into the future, right? We're poked, prodded, and pushed by the ego mind. We're hurried, right? We're pressed. And what is that? Because through the ego mind, we get frustrated, irritated. Right? We go into stinking thinking. And so we got to find out, right? We got to find out things. We have to find out things. Got to know what's going to happen in the future. Got to know when am I going to have enough money to have a good life? When am I going to have this? When is this going to happen? And when am I going to be well enough to enjoy my life? So we'll go to external authorities, which are card readers, psychics, clairvoyants, tea leaf readers, palm readers, pendulum readers, astrology readings, numerologies, and there's many avenues. So we'll pick one, and we'll ask for the reading, and the person will give us a reading. And a lot of the times it's about money, it's about security, finances, love, romance, and well-being. Not always in that order. So you say, well, I'd like to know when I'm going to have enough money to enjoy my life, or do you see any financial windfall or breakthrough coming? And so then they do their thing, and they tell you, a week from now, it looks like you're going to come into a massive amount of money that will take care of you the rest of your life. And so you get like pretty much three responses, roughly. And so the first one is just kind of like, ho-hum, man. They really don't believe it. And they don't have trust in themselves and the universe, and so they just kind of poo-poo it. The second one, they'll just absolutely go crazy over it. They'll put it in their calendar. They'll review everything. They'll form expectations and attachments to the outcome of it. And they'll count the minutes, the seconds, the minutes, the hours, the days. So they're totally fixated with it. Third one has a lot of trust, total trust in themselves and the universe. So they clarify everything. They look at it after the information is given to them. And they say, great. I know what will happen. And they do it through the heart mind. And they release it. And they go about their business. Now, the one that will manifest it is the third one. The middle one will push it away because they're so fixated on it. And they have so many expectations and attachments to the outcome of it. And, of course, the first one, no way, Jose. Now, we do this a lot more than we realize about a lot of things. But see, when we surrender to it and we look at it for what it is, it melts away and it drops off the body. It's like many of us don't know when we ruffle our shoulders, crunch them. We don't even know it. So when we get aware and say, shoulders, why are you, what's causing you to tense up? Let's look at that and find out what this is all about, why my shoulders are tensing up. Why am I shrugging my shoulders? And all along, we're focused in the now, on our breath. Now, see, we've all been taught, generations, thousands of years, that your name's Mary, you have a body, this is you, and then Bill is across the street, Bill's body, and that's separate. Very rarely do we look at the body and say there's a God within that body, which is part of the God within my body. So if we're all part of the gods that we are within the body, how in the heck can we be separate? We can't. Isn't it ironic on how they train us to go against each other, to be at each other? And it's all an illusion. It's like the Ascended Masters, Kuan Yin, Maitreya, Buddha, Lakshmi, Ganesh, Gaia, Saint Germain, Christ, El Morya, Medantia, Pel, Dawn, Yahweh, Yeshua. All those gods inhabiting those bodies at one time, shape, form, or another throughout the ages are part of the gods that we are in these bodies. But for so long, we have never looked at it that way, through the heart mind. All the inhabitants of inner earth, hollow earth, Agartha, beneath earth. Same thing. All the off-worlders, galactic celestials. Same thing. Pleiadians, Sirians, Arcturians, Andromedans, Felines, Zeta Reticuli, Anunnaki, Nords, Greys, Draco, Reptilian, Golden Pyramid, Avian. Thousands more. Same thing. All of our loved ones who have ascended out of body in this lifetime and all lifetimes we've inhabited, same thing. See, the physical form is the illusion of separation. We're all gods experiencing physical forms of all kinds. That's it. And we are not all of us enter, humanoid forms. Some of us enter all kinds of different forms to experience those. Like the archangels, the cherubim and the seraphim archetypes. They have bodies. They have gods within those bodies. Are those gods any different than our gods? The gods that we are? No. They're part of us. The Saturnians, the Jupiterians, all of them. Venusians, all of them. Gods and bodies, experiencing physical form. Part of all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. And the numbers are endless. You can scratch the surface and say, okay, so a googolplex fills this universe with not even 1 square inch of sacred space to spare. Yeah, okay. And there's trillions of googolplexes and trillions of universes. So we focus, it's like we look at this planet Earth, we focus on it and say, the gods that we are in these bodies say, well, we're not interested in having this lower dark matter, survival matter frequency, pure evil, souls that have absorbed too much darkness, all of that. We just don't care to have it on this planet anymore. So we're eliminating it through the love that we are, which is the highest power and the highest vibrational frequency, period. So we're in full compassion, non-judgment, non-ego, non-negativity, stillness of mind, gentleness and kindness, generosity and humbleness, bliss, joy, peace, tranquility, benevolence, prosperity, abundance. And we're all one, we're all God, and we're all love. And our God force, love, light, energy is in all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond it, forever. Continues to grow, intensify, strengthen, and expand. We immediately form a massive white fire circle of light around the equator of this planet Earth, Gaia, Arya, and this now. Now, this emanates from the gods that we are within these bodies. It's pure, deep, eternal love, the highest of vibrational frequencies. It is so bright it grays out the darkness of sacred space. You could take 1 trillion suns and bunch them together, and they would pale in comparison to this light. Now, we begin to ascend above the planet. And remember that this is saturating, permeating, and flooding this planet, head to toe, inside and out. And all life, the highest supreme value in the universe. So we meet this ocean of glitter. We, the gods, within these bodies, create this ocean of glitter. Now, we look at the things here on this planet that can come close to describing the ocean of glitter. We're curious. We like to describe things. And so we take a grand finale fireworks display and a grand finale laser light show display and a ballroom globe with all these little faceted mirrors that you shine light on it, and it floods the room with light. Well, we take all three of these and we put them together in one massive crescendo. We intensify them at least 1 trillion times. And we have this one burst of this magnificent, super clear, bright, sparkling light. And that comes as near as we can get to the description of the ocean of glitter. And then we look for the reflective points, which obviously are everywhere. And we see these little tiny microscopic mirrors, perfectly etched, and we enter them. And we discover that all of us, and all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever, are teaching and learning with each other, from each other, for each other. Endless, infinity and beyond. Now, most of us we've gotten so drawn into the material physical world that we miss most of it. And those that have decided to go within and the journey within, they begin to identify it. Is it random? Oh, it's just a random thing. Doesn't have any meaning. That bird flew over me, that was just random. That's the illusion. The bird flew over you because it had something to tell you or show you that you could learn. Maybe it's just being free. Or your pet, or your dog, your cat, bird, whatever it may be. Or a tree, a bush, a blade of grass, a leaf, a bug in a rug. All these things. And most people become amazed at the simplicity of it. And when we were kids, we didn't think twice to say, I want to be that. Whoever it was that we were looking at, I want to know what it's like. I want to be that. I want to be a horse. I want to be a cow. But, as we're trained and these bodies grow, we forget about that. We think that's silly. But in reality, you can look at something through the heart-mind and say, I wonder what it's like to be that. And through the heart-mind in the now with the breath, for a brief moment, you'll know exactly what it's like to be whatever it is you're focused on. And we're all interacting with each other as the gods that we are. We're all teaching each other. We're using physical forms to experience so that we learn. What is experience? Experience is knowledge. Where does knowledge come from? Experience. What is knowledge? Knowledge is power. What are you, the God that you are, inside of that physical form? Power. Pure energy. Pure consciousness. Now, we've created gods that we are in these bodies. Lights, firelight, right? Columns of light, to remind us of things. It's like Archangel Raphael carrying a brilliant emerald green, flaming, healing light. This is to remind us, all the gods that we are in these bodies, that we are the power of healing these bodies. Does it make sense to any of us that we would enter a body that's so vulnerable, that gets sick, diseased, decrepit. Does that make any sense? As powerful as we are? No, it doesn't. Then we have Archangel Michael. Now he's carrying a violet, blue, purple flame of light. And collectively we created this light to remind us all the gods that we are of our omnipotent power, strength, and resolve. The power that you are in that body, not the body, the God within it. Then we come to the white fire. This is a column of light. It emanates from the gods that we are. Pure, deep, eternal love. Highest of the vibrational frequencies. It encases us in a white fire armor. At the highest of the highest high vibrational frequencies of pure, deep, eternal love. So all of as long as we maintain that frequency, all of the lower dark matter, slime matter frequencies, pure evil, cannot violate us, get near us, attach to us, possess us at all. They can't hold their form when we're at that high vibrational frequency, so they either vaporize or they leave. So we're protected 24/7, infinity and beyond. Yet, only you have the power that, consciously or unconsciously, you decide to lower your vibrational frequency low enough through hatred, anger, greed, revenge, envy, dishonesty, manipulation, worry, stress, fear, anxiety, hurriedness. You will create a breach in your white fire armor, allowing all the lower dark matter, slime matter frequencies, pure evil, to come rushing in. Now, you decide to do this, and there's possibilities of demon possession, attachment, all kinds of stuff. But see, we have fail-safes, the gods that we are, in place. So we create this double column of light. First part of the column is a purple transmuting flame. This allows us to bring in the purple transmuting flame, transmute all these lower dark matter, slime matter frequencies into neutral light substance, sending them to pure consciousness where they are, no more. Then the second part of the column is the violet ray. We created this part of the column to remind us all that we can bring in the violet ray right behind the purple transmuting flame, cleanse and purify the areas where these lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies were, sealing the breach in our white fire armor, restoring our vibrational frequency to the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal love, gratitude, and peace. We are then met by the golden white pink light. The gods that we are in these bodies created this golden white pink light. It is the purest of the purest purest, the deepest of the deepest deepest, and the highest of the highest highest, eternal love. And it reminds us, the gods that we are in these bodies, that we are the sunlight. We are the sun. We are the rain and the rainbows. We are the sunsets and the sunrises. We are the oceans, rivers, lakes, and streams. Trees, the forests, the soils, the animals, the clouds in the sky. We are everything. Everything is us, the gods that we are in these bodies. Now, we've been trained, obviously, that we, in the illusion of separation, so when we look at a sunset or a sunrise, a rainbow, we say, isn't that beautiful? I got to get a picture of that. And the part beautiful is right, because that's you, the God that you are in that body. That's all of us. So through the heart mind, when we look at that, we say, that's the God that I am. Not the ego mind, the heart mind. That's the God that I am. That rainbow, that's the God that I am. See that cloud in the sky? That's the God that I am. See the moose? That's the God that I am. That's supreme reality. So we continue to ascend above this planet. Some of us who are carrying physical form decide to step outside that physical form and hover effortlessly above it. The reason we do this is because we can, and it's a lot of fun. We come into full contact with this massive crystalline light tower. We, the gods of these bodies, created this tower. It's larger than the solar system and beyond. In the center of the column, we notice this massive oblong sphere. In the center of the sphere, this humongous golden white ball of light. It is surrounded by multicolored rings of light that seem to go to infinity and beyond. This, in turn, creates this super bright, white, sparkling, misty cloud that's absorbed in through our heart minds, which feels like a warm embrace that never ends. Now, we discover that the golden white bowl of light is the highest of the highest high, the deepest of the deepest deepest, and the purest of the purest purest, eternal love. Then comes gratitude, well-being, gentleness, kindness, generosity, humbleness, bliss, joy, peace, tranquility, benevolence, massive prosperity, and massive abundance. And then we know, through the heart-mind, that all of this is a reflection of the gods that we are within these bodies. Now, at the top of this tower, we created the gods that we are, created the top of the tower so the golden ocean can come cascading down 360 degrees, infinity and beyond. What is golden ocean? Pure, deep, eternal love, the highest of the highest high vibrational frequencies. And it's flooding, saturating, permeating this planet. Whole life, the highest supreme value in the universe. We are drops of this golden ocean. We hold the essence of this golden ocean. Drops of the golden ocean. Golden oceans are drops. And the only illusion is separation. We see our meditative sphere. The gods that we are in this body created that sphere over 4 years ago. It's moving towards 1,900 meditations in perpetual motion. And these meditations continue to grow, intensify, expand, and strengthen. And they're all focused on this planet. And they're all flooding this planet, infinity and beyond. Saturating it, permeating. Hundreds of millions of us consciously aware, which means that we know through the heart-mind that we are of and from the highest of the highest high, the deepest of the deepest deepest, and the purest of the purest purest, eternal love. And we're liberating this planet. Completely, not partly, not halfway, not somewhat, but absolutely, infinitely complete. And you can see how we're doing it. The gods that we are in these bodies. You stay in the now, you focus on your breath, you float through the heart mind, and you can see what's happening. We, the gods in these bodies, created this field, right? It's everywhere. It's golden, white, pink light, shimmers. Everything shimmers. And it goes to the sky. And the sky we turned into this golden, white, pink, super bright, infinity and beyond light. Now, we see all this black, dark matter. And it's blacker than the blackest black that you've ever set your eyes on. And this is involving the rogue AI goop. This is involving all of the pure evil all the souls that have taken in too much darkness, all the lower dark matter, slide matter frequencies. And you're watching as it evaporates from the planet everywhere. And you see it as it disintegrates in this field that we, the gods in these bodies, created. And they deplete, and they disintegrate, and any even small vestige makes it to the sky, it's flashed, done, permanently vaporized. Now, is this going to, will it end after liberation? No, it's going to continue. It's not going to end. It's just going to strengthen and intensify, expand and grow. So it will continue. This planet is being lifted through the gods that we are in these bodies and transformed into a God planet paradise. The moment is the only thing that is real. Everything happening between your ears is a grand illusion created by your mind. This moment contains the only true existence. It is the only place you can find the divine, the past, and future are amazing. Yet are delusions that take you away from the divine and are not actually real. They are continuously being fabricated and replicated by your mind. For 10 times randomly today, stop the mind by surrendering to the present moment. For 10 times randomly today, or more if you wish, stop the mind by surrendering to the present moment. An amazing spiritual experience will begin to unfold within you. The longer you can remain completely present to the now. Don't take my word for it. Check it out for yourself and see for yourself. I'll join you in a meditation and return to close us out. Take an easy, slow breath in through the nose, and an easy, slow breath out of the mouth. Be still. Whoever you've decided you are is still the tiniest fraction of who you really are. You are not defined by the ideas you have about yourself, nor your desires, nor the shape of your body, and not the positive or negative attitude of your mind. You are beyond all of this. You are indefinable. You are greater than your mind can fathom. You are a spiritual energy which is unbounded and infinite. This is the true you that will never die. So for 5 minutes, sometime today, sit with the question, who am I? Explore it with your heart, not with your head. Be aware of the mind whenever it creates another idea of who you will be or who you were, and instead dive into the very essence of your being. Explore what is here now, at the very core of you, in this moment. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night, and the following morning. And we will return here Wednesday, June 29th, 2022, 3 p.m. Eastern to continue our Global Guided Meditation call, and 9 p.m. Eastern to continue our Time for Change call.